Hey, hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yaya the Fangirl. Really quick, I want to do a quick shout out and thank all of you who have subscribed to the channel. It is so crazy to think that we are at 160 subscribers, at least as of recording this. So I just wanted to say a really quick and really big thank you. I hope you guys are liking and enjoying the videos, and yeah, definitely feel free to leave a comment, let me know what else you'd like to see, just because I can't believe the little community is growing, and so I just wanted to say thanks. Today we are here on Ciderwhim, which is my Friendsgiving challenge island. It has been a hot minute since the first video for Ciderwhim came out. If you are interested in that video, I will link it up above. Since that video though, I've done a lot of work offline, basically getting the island ready to the point where we can truly begin decorating. We did the grind for 3 stars. I did a lot of time traveling to get a lot of the villagers moved off and the correct villagers moved on. And also I basically 90% of the island I flattened and also completely resculpted the river. Also, I will do my best to link down below the other creators who are participating in the Friendsgiving challenge, because they have had a couple of videos come out over the past 2 weeks. So definitely don't forget to go check those out and show them some love as well. But with that being said, before we kind of get into the build for today, let's just take a quick preview of the map and see what has changed. All right. So here on Ciderwhim, we have Eunice, Olive, Ellie, Coco, Bones, Weber, Anchovy, Eric, Boomer, and Pashmina. I did decide to swap out Sally for Eunice on my island, mostly just because I found Eunice on a short villager hunt that I went on, so I couldn't pass her up. And I lucked out with Pashmina literally coming to the campsite as a campsite villager, so that was great. As you can see, island majority is flattened with a tiny little raised area there in the back, and I also have already done some waterway work. But apart from that, we have a big blank open canvas. And as you can see here, I have done a bit of prep work, and you might be able to tell from a couple of these custom codes what the build for today is. My plan is here in this back kind of far left quadrant here on Ciderwhim is to make a barn and barnyard dance area. In my brain, I like to imagine that Ciderwhim, they're in the midst of their fall celebration and fall festival, and in my brain I immediately was like, well, we need a barnyard dance. I feel like I have to have a barnyard dance. I do think that this island is going to end up being a little bit more small town core than just straight cottage core, but I think that's okay. I mean, coming off of New Reach, which was full on city core, it's going to take me a while to let those old habits die hard. But with that being said, we're going to turn it over to voiceover Yaya, and we will get to the speed build. After picking up the weeds, I knew that I was going to need to build up a cliff or a second level for the barn to appear multi-level and kind of big and grand. I wasn't certain how large of a cliff area I was going to need. I had a couple of Pinterest examples that I had seen, and I knew I kind of wanted to maybe fill in a little bit around the second level around the barn to kind of just make it look like full and not just a weird barn out in the middle of nowhere. So this is just me going through building up a really big cliff, and I figured if I didn't need the whole thing, then I could always go back and tear some of it down. Also, side note, I saw this method of building cliff faces on a TikTok a year ago, where you essentially build 2 rows at the same time. It is definitely fun, and I feel like it really helps make the build process go a little bit smoother. It also works when you are tearing down cliffs, because then you're not having to hit the same cliff face twice to, tear it down. And here I am adding a couple of working spaces. Off I go to pick up a couple of pieces. So one of the barn examples I had seen on Pinterest used the solar panels for kind of roof edging, and I really liked how that looked. So here I'm going up to the second level. I'm gonna just throw down just some type of dark code that I have to kind of just hide the lighter shade of the grass, just because I am using the black solar panels and I don't want it to look too bright. Also, the amount of time it took me to mentally think and make sure I put down the solar panels in the correct direction and was able to push them properly, I probably made it harder than it needed to be, but we got there in the end. Also, me realizing I didn't leave myself a working cliff here at the front, so popping down these red barn codes and realizing that I didn't put anything on the grass. I'm doing my best. I don't want any shame points on this island like I had on Near Reach. Also, swap those out for a red one here at the front. Also, I love these barn siding codes that I had seen on Pinterest. It's so adorable. It makes me so happy. Also realized that to put another level of solar panels that I needed to extend the cliff there. Want to make sure we get that covered. And don't mind my indecision about how far forward I wanted the solar panels to go on the first level. I could not decide for the life of me where I wanted to put them. Alright, now we're going to put down the simple panels for the first level. And I knew I wanted to kind of extend the barn off on one side to make it look like there was a wood storage kind of area, but I wasn't quite certain if I wanted to do 2 panels of the chopped wood or just 1. Also, it just looks so cute. I love it. It's so cute. Yeah. So I tried out 2 at first and felt like it just made it way too large on the left side, so decided just to do 1, but so cute. Also decided to try to test out if I wanted to have the solar panel partially out to kind of show that, it was longer on that side. I do end up going back and actually pushing it in, but also using some stalls here just to make sure that the roof extends down to the ground level. And I'm obsessed with this barn. I can't tell you how obsessed I am with this barn. It's just so stinking cute. Yeah, let me get out of the frame. I paused and tried to leave spaces to, take a bunch of different pictures and different views of it, but I really like how this barn turned out. I am here making a decision that I think I'm going to try to fill in the kind of weird gaps there on the first level behind the barn, but I do decide to not keep both sides. And here I'm knocking down the cliff here on the left hand side and putting down a couple of silos. This process took me a while because I wasn't certain how far back I wanted them to be, and especially if I was trying out if I wanted to put wood behind that stall, but I changed my mind on that pretty quickly. But regarding the silos, I had 2 silos and I knew I wanted them to be at least partially in view and visible, but I wasn't quite certain, from a viewpoint of where the dance floor is going to be, if you'd be able to see them. So there's a lot of me running forward and scooching things around and then running back. Yes. Realizing that I don't have any trees in my pockets, I run over to the other side of the island where I have all of my flowers and bushes and trees here. Also, I really like these bushes that turn the kind of orangey goldy color. I like those a lot. That and these ones here on the front. I think I'll probably end up using more of the pale ones than the really bright green bushes. And I had to pause and be a little bit obsessed with where I found all of my weeds spawning. With my little tree area, it was just so stinking cute. Like, I almost didn't want to destroy it. I almost just wanted to leave it the way it is. But I need trees. So we're gonna get trees. I am thinking I'm going to set the dream address probably in a little bit later November. If I remember correctly, I think I'm at like November 11th or something here when I'm recording this. And I like that the trees have started to turn and that there's a lot of like the oranges, yellows, but I am definitely going to want to go a bit farther forward, I think, to make sure that I also get some red trees as well. Here I was realizing my mistake with the spacing and how many trees I really wanted to make sure I put in the area, and then realizing that you have to, like, I didn't know if I wanted to do the tree glitch to put something on the edge or if I just wanted to, just say only 2 trees, but I was like, no, not just 2 trees, and I didn't want to have to fight for the tree glitch, so decided just to extend the cliff a little bit farther here on the right to make sure I could fully fit 3 trees here on this side. Running over to the other side to start filling in some trees around the silos as well. Lots of running forward and running back. I haven't really picked out exactly which flowers I want to use, but I feel like I've definitely been leaning towards a lot of the tulips and the mums. I do have a handful of poppies, but I'm not certain if I'll really like them against the pale yellow grass, but we'll see. Filling in the area with some bushes and flowers. I like it. Picasso. Alright, let's keep moving. Realizing that I still had a couple of trees and bushes in my pockets, decided to just finish plopping this down to fill it out all the way to the edge of the beach. Also, it seems silly to put a flower in a place where you can't see it. Alright, here we are moving on to building out the dance floor for the barnyard dance. I decided just to go with the in-game pathing, the in-game wooden pathing. I felt like it looked like a great, kind of temporary wooden dance floor, like something that somebody rented and, put down in front of the barn. And it'll show up on the map, so extra bonus. I don't know what barnyard dances you've been to, but I've been to both, growing up in a rural area. I didn't go to many of them, but I had gone to a handful, and there's definitely different levels of barnyard dances. I had gone to one that was hosted by our town, and they had a full-on DJ, huge speakers, the whole DJ setup. And then I'd gone to somebody's birthday party barnyard dance, which was was just basically they had rented their own cheap speaker system and just had their computer plugged in playing music. So for this one, my assumption is that the town is paying for it. And that they've got the nicer DJ equipment. I guess this is around the time where I felt the levels and how full it was over here on this level 1 from view from the dance floor was lackluster. It was what else could I put in there? And this was just, there's a lot of me just What could I put here? Running back to my storage and all of that fun stuff. Also trying out, some decayed trees. I don't think that one stays here, but I know I'm gonna definitely want to use them more around the island, but this one at least kind of adds a little bit of fullness, but it doesn't really like do much. Also, don't mind me just feeling the need to like make the dance floor setup symmetrical. Not exactly symmetrical, but pretty dang close. I also not quite certain what time of day I'm going to set the dream address, but I felt like we needed a lot of plain party light arches, and I also wanted to include a lot of the stage lights, so I kind of used like green and orange ones. Random thing I noticed after I just kind of picked my villagers, not really paying attention really to what their personality types were. I literally only have, the majority of them are all lazies and normals. I have one big sisterly. That's it. My big sisterly is, I believe, Pashmina. Like, I did not realize that until I was like regularly talking to villagers to try to, get the friendship or relationship points up so that way they would give me, some reactions. And as I was like finalizing the lineup and like talking to them, they all have the same phrases that they say to you when you talk to them, and I made me Google it and like look it up, and I was like, oh my god, I literally only basically have 2 personality types on this island. Will I do that in the future? No, I think I will make certain that I at least pick more than just a variety, like bigger variety than just 2, because not gonna lie, I love how adorable my villagers look, but I have already gotten annoyed talking to them on a regular basis because they just say the exact same thing over and over again, all of them. And that was something I did to myself and I didn't realize. So, just a cautionary tale to anybody else. Don't do what I did. At least double check the personality types of all of the villagers when you pick them. Yes, here I'm trying to kind of make like a nice kind of like official entrance into the dance area, but definitely trying to decorate the fall vibes. I also decided to swap out the giant vine for the windmill, and I love that so much more. I just love the motion, especially with the wind. But I decide that I also need the giant vine, and there's totally room for it. So cute, much fuller. Need to put some stacked fire logs near the wood storage. So I swap out that pumpkin for the stacked firewood. I believe it was around this point where I realized that there was like a mole cricket or something somewhere. I have muted the in-game sound for this video. You're welcome, because oh my god, doing this build with that sound going for so long drove me bonkers. I can't tell you. I'm glad I remembered the vines in my pocket before I completely forgot. So happy I remembered those and was able to add a couple of them to the cliff. I feel like that just helps make them look less naked. I wanted to kind of keep like going back here and putting down more wheat fields, but Bones is enjoying the build back there right now, so I had to move on. Popping down a couple of seats for people to, you know, give their feet a break after they've been dancing all night. Also just kind of using whatever I have in storage and in my pockets to kind of help fill out the space. I've only done a handful of Treasure Island runs at this point, but I at least have gotten a good base to start, but I'm definitely going to have to pick up some more items here in the future before I do my next build. Oh yes, and I was realizing that I was struggling to put down a wheat field at an angle, so I literally had to build a cliff to put it down properly, but we got there. Also, wasn't quite certain what to do to finish filling in this little strip of land here on the left. But considering the fact that I knew I wanted to kind of have a tractor around over here, decided why not just make it, you know, like a little mini farm. I mean, there's a barn. So, decided to use the in-game dirt pathing. I do end up alternating the dark and light in-game pathing in this area. Also decided that they could not all be even. Putting the tractor back. I went and ran and grabbed some plants that I had planted in another area. Mostly I planted them to get to 3 stars, you know, to put more stuff down. So I kind of basically just have like 3 of each plant. And at first I was debating on putting them in on both the dark and the light dirt. But then I remembered that like the base of them are dark, and I was like, nope, that drives me bonkers. So ended up moving all of the plants onto the dark in-game dirt pathing. Which actually kind of worked out because I really only had like 4 different plants that I had planted, so it worked out perfectly. Also, I always love doing potato shoes when you have 2 potatoes. So this is me lining myself up perfectly in the camera view. Just be like, look, I have potato shoes. I don't remember who I saw do this on like a video or a stream, but it makes me giggle every time. And so when I have them, I have to do potato shoes. And now you can't unsee it either. This is the point where I remembered I had these planter box custom code and decided to try throwing it down there in the middle. It's very cute. I do need you guys to weigh in on if I should do those on all of them or alternating them. I'm not quite certain, but I know I want to use them, but I don't quite know if they fit here. I'm also going back and remembering the rest of my custom codes that I haven't done like complete code shopping, but I've done some code shopping. And so like I have this like cute like loose hay code, and then obviously I have a lot of different leaf codes as well. Just trying to scatter them around, randomly pick things up to remember to put them down underneath. But very cute. Double checking that I've used everything. Triple checking little miscellaneous items I have to put on top of stuff. Also, I love gnomes. There's gnome problems here. I'm sorry, I have a problem. I'm obsessed with gnomes. My house is decorated with gnomes like in almost every season. So I needed a gnome, and then I had to laugh at myself. Swapping out a couple of things just for some more color. Yeah, like a hand cart. Also needed to build a flimsy shovel to put in the dirt. I also decided that, I wanted to kind of protect the little farm area from wandering guests. Like, I don't want you to go walk and destroy all of the food. So put down a little barbed wire fence here just to kind of dedicate this area that, hey, this is food area. Or this is the garden area. This is the farm area. Please don't walk on the plants. I also just like how it feels in the area. Popping down some more wheat fields, which I love. All the wheat fields. I'm hoping that my island doesn't become laggy, but if it does, it does. Alright, and that is it for today's build. As you can see here, we're kind of standing on the dance floor area here in front of the barn. I love how the barn turned out. I love the dance floor area. If anything, maybe the gnome is the DJ. DJ Gnome. It's not a super full build area, but I still feel like it's even and balanced. I like it a lot. Quick recap, here on the left is the little mini farm associated with the barn. That's the lore I'm creating for the island. I really like the different silos. I think it helps with the height and filling in the area. And yes, please weigh in on this code, the planter box code. Should I put them in all of the places where I have the light dirt path, or is maybe just one strip enough? Let me know your thoughts. Got just some little filler items back over here. You can still technically scooch through. Lots of wheat fields, lots of trees. And then on the other side, it's pretty light over here because I have a build in mind for just over here to the right, but I did want a couple of things. So I think I am going to go get one of the apiary bee hives and tuck it here behind the little cage item. I think it'll just help fill out the space better. So yeah, right here behind it. But I like how full it looks up there. All right. Well, that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this speed build. I hope you got some fun fall build ideas for your own island, and I cannot wait to show you the rest of the builds and the ideas I have here for Ciderwhim. But thank you so much. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of the builds coming up, and definitely leave a comment. Let me know what you think, and please tell me, what is your decision on the planter box code? Should I leave them? Should I get rid of it? I need your opinions. Please let me know. All right, that's it for today, but I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until next time, bye.